Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Somying Pongpimol. I'm a lecturer at Content University. Today, I'm proud to present my research when I was studying the PhD at School of Management at AIT. I focusing on the multi-criteria sustainability assessment model for the end-of-life flexible packaging with stakeholder views. In addition, the research focused on the firm level and involves with managing criteria adoption in waste management, in implementation. So when we look at the current situation for the demand for flexible packaging in Thailand, the demand is increasing because it's safe, it's lightweight, and cost effectiveness when compared with the rigid packaging. But however, it has problems like a waste at the end of life due to its poor degradation and separation. So this research is main focusing on the important factor to identify criteria and sustainable solid waste management concept. So when we look at the whole phases of the flexible packaging life, and all phases also have the stakeholder that we need to be considered. So why this research emphasizes the point of view of expert stakeholder. So for the research question are what are the priority of waste management, what is the score, and how to identify, and then the research objective is are to identify the criteria and to develop the multi-criteria that influence for the end-of-life flexible packaging and to implement the prioritize for appropriate solution for management flexible packaging waste. And for the research model, indicators sustainable solid waste management is the main concept that guideline and apply to build the research model. For example, this research use the aspect for the key factors criteria also consider the stakeholder involved. So the right hand side they show the preliminary research model and I have to find out the influence criteria and solution based on those aspects. So for the methodology, this research have two steps. The first step is to identify the important factors which are the criteria for the end-of-life flexible packaging. Then it was screened to reduce the most important criteria by factor analysis. And the second step, I use the ANP technique to define the criteria factor for the end-of-life flexible packaging. Then implementation from ANP weight and set a strategy for waste management by SWOT analysis. This slide that shows the stakeholder expert. This research considered in three main groups. The first group consists of a nonprofit organization, academic expert in field of packaging and packaging waste, including government officer. And the second group is manufacturing from raw material to waste management business. And the last group is the customer, who are the company that use the flexible packaging to contain their products. So let's go to the ANP construction. First of all, we have to set up the ANP model construction. Why we use ANP? Because the structured decision is a network. Due to all components and alternative has influence which is other. And it's this technique prefer to use for the set public and policy strategic planning. And then the result of final priority realize are important of the criteria to consider on the first priority, such as technical for waste management, management support, refrigeration, and so on. And this slide that shows the result criteria and expectation for how to manage the flexible packaging waste at the end of life. For example, in material and design aspect, which is using a biodegradable material, or in strategy aspect, with setting incentive payment for flexible packaging, and in policy and planning aspect, we should to identify the marking on packaging to indicate the different materials used and how to dispose it properly. So we moving to the implementation part by SWOT analysis. So we use SWOT because everyone know it's easy to use, like a tool for making a strategic decision. And in addition, SWOT also have a tool method to develop a strategy. For example, strategy, we can make a strength to advantage for opportunity. After we have A&P weight, these weight were adjusted value by weight geometric to for measure to determine in a single value, and total weight must equal to 1. Then we have to rate the scale. The scale to represent in the real situation by stakeholder or policymaker. In this research, we used 5 policymakers to rate the scale from 1 to 3. 3 does mean a major strain, 1 means a minor strain, and 2 means intermediate condition. In the same way, by weakness point, 3 that mean a major weakness, 1 mean minor weakness, and 2 intermediate condition. And this slide that show the tomatic model. The strategy for flexible packaging waste management were proposed following these tomatic. There are various solutions applicable to fully determine aggressive strategy. In contrast, there might be some threat and weakness that need to be mitigated and turned into opportunity to create more aggressive strategy. The result will helpful to consider the strategy appropriate to the situation. For example, in SO strategy, we should to develop technology and research to support the recycle market and offer the growth. Or SO4, we have to improve the requirement and define regulation on use and dispose of flexible packaging waste. And we come up to the conclusion part. So the research aim to provide a significant factors with important criteria for flexible packaging waste management. The main factor based on 7 aspects of sustainable solid waste management and 19 sub-factor and 5 solutions by reflect from the expert stakeholder views. The results show that the most important criteria for each aspect were technical for waste management, environmental care and health, and incentive payment, and so on. And moreover, flexible packaging waste solution will identify and include reuse, recycle, waste to energy, biopolymer, and so on. So for A&P technique was used to evaluate and prioritize the relevant factors, and SWOT analysis which was applied to define a strategy and obtain insight regarding managing solutions. So for the recommendation in future research, the proposed solutions represent a small cross section and industry. So however, there are many certain constraints in some areas, some provinces such as tourist destination or insufficient area. For example, in Iceland or Phuket province. So for future study should investigate the A&P development and employ in local experts in the context of enhancing the efficiency of forecasting model, and Also encourage the expert participate in specific area. This will certainly enhance the efficiency and appropriateness of waste management for further. Okay, thank you for your attention. And if any guy want to study and learn more information, you can see in the Journal of Management of Environmental Quality. And thank you again for your attention. If you have any question, I will be happy to answer at the end of this part. Thank you.